Hi everyone, happy Monday. We're going to be starting off today's strength training session with some activation work, okay? We did these last week, right? So we're going to be in our side plank, making sure my hips are opened up, or it's like I'm standing tall from my knee to my head. So I don't want it bent, right? I want you to think about finding your neutral. Knees are bent for this one, okay? You can go legs straight, but you're really not going to need to. Like I said, it's more of an activation exercise. I'm focusing on my scaps being packed, core is tight. I'm going to pick up my leg, making sure when I pick it up, I'm not dropping the hip or I'm not pushing in that direction. This stays completely quiet as I lift that band. So it's going to be 4 sets of 12 reps. That's 12 on one side, roll over, 12 on the other side. After your banded side planks, now you can use those as part of your warm-up, like as you're warming up for our front squats here. But once you get to like closer to working weight, let's eliminate those. So like I said, do those in the beginning as part of your warm-up or in the beginning of your supersets with your warm-up for your front squats. So the front squats are going to be 6 sets of 2 reps, all right? We're gonna get under our bar, excuse me. All right, getting under our bar, making sure we got a good grip on that with our hands. Our no more cues that we talk about. We're screwing our feet into the ground. My core is tight. Chest is nice and tall. My 2 front squats. All right, so it's going to be relatively heavy. So you're going to take some time building up to that. Your next exercise that you're going to continue with is our single leg press, okay? Now let me show you how you're going to make the leg press single, or if you need to put it back to double, okay? So there's a lever right here. It's a little tight for me to undo that, but let me show you why. So if you come over here, the more this sits right in that groove, the better. If not, both of these plates are kind of pushed a little differently. So that's why that lever is hard to pull open, okay? So I'm just gonna adjust that right in through here, have that sit. I know it's a minor adjustment, but it makes a big difference. Now, when I change this, like it should be really smooth and really easy. So that would be a single leg option. That is your double leg option. All right. So today's reps is going to be 5 sets for 10 reps. I'm going to get in here. I am like 5'4½". So if my toes are even with this seam through here, or even if the ball of my foot is roughly on that seam, even if I'm close together or a little wider, roughly right around there would be good if you're about my height. If you're a little shorter, you might be a little lower, obviously, and then if you're taller than that, you might be a little bit more up here. Also, these different angles target different parts of the legs as well. So you got to kind of play with it, work with it. As long as you can push through your whole foot, no matter where your feet are, I think you're going to be okay. All right, so single leg, I'm going to line my foot up through here. I only need to worry about one side, okay? Now, what I'm focusing on is core is tight, right? We always talk about screwing the feet in. I want to make sure when I come back, it doesn't take my pelvis and then I curl my pelvis under and I've left all of this. I need to keep my stability, my neutral pelvis, and make sure that doesn't change, right? So that's a good rep. This would be a bad rep. So maybe I don't have the flexibility to go all the way down. Or this is on the heavier side, empty. I can also use my hands to assist me. Even if I was doing both legs at the same time, I can use my hands a little bit to assist me, kind of like a little spotter, where I can make it about 10 pounds lighter or even 20 pounds lighter if I'm pushing through. All right, so let's say I'm done with my reps. I'm gonna rack this, line my other foot up, take it off the rack, and then continue with that other leg. And for today, we're just gonna think legs right in front of us, kind of if we were just standing normal. Okay, that's about the width I'm looking for this one. That's gonna be 10 reps per leg. All right, for your last superset for today, we're gonna go alternating leg extension. So how do you know how this machine is supposed to fit? This bolster, I want it roughly kind of right here at the top of the ankle. It can touch the top of the foot as well. So that's a good spot for me. Shorter person, taller person, here's the adjustments, okay? This right here adjusts if I need to start with the bolster out here more. Maybe I don't have the range of motion to come back here. So I can start with this out here a little bit more, or I can start with it back. Where should it be? Let's say if this was a 90-degree angle, if I can go a little bit past that 90-degree angle, a little bit behind, roughly that's a good start, okay? Now, if I need to be farther up or farther back, I do not want this bolster like stuffed right behind here where I can't even bend it. I have free range. You probably stick 2 fingers right around through there. It's just not digging behind my leg. So right around there is pretty good. If I need to move the seat up and or forward and backwards, I got this lever right here on this side, okay? All right, so alternating legs. So my core is nice and tight. I'm gonna keep everything stable. So 1 and 1. 2 and 2. You might clank a bunch of times to try to figure it out, like where to stop, where to rest. You can look to the side a couple times, pretty much right before the weights are gonna touch. That's when you would alternate. So this is gonna be 5 sets of 10 reps per leg on that one. You're gonna be supersetting your alternating leg extensions with hamstring curl hold or pauses in a plank position, okay? So I need to wrap the band behind my heels and my feet can tuck through, or they can stay like that. This will help it keep just a little bit more secure, okay? So in plank, we're gonna go on our forearms, all right? You'll have to play around. This would be harder, this would be easier. Wanna make sure when I hold, I'm asking myself, did I arch my back on the way up? Because that's what you're gonna wanna do, but you can't. You have to maintain that neutral position while you're focusing on that hold or throughout the entire movement. All right, so notice my hips are not moving, they're not waving from that core tight plank position. Here's a couple of reps that you don't wanna be doing, right? You can see all the movements happening through here. So focus on that core, right? If I can't control that, I'll get a little closer, right? If that's too easy, I can walk away a little bit more. So I'm going to hold that for 2 seconds for each rep. That is also going to be 5 sets, but that's going to be anywhere from 8 to 10 reps on this movement. The last movement you're going to be ending with for Monday strength training is going to be alternating jumping lunges. It's going to be 50 total. You guys can pick the sets and the reps and however you want to break it up, all right? So I'm going to touch the floor with the knee if I can. And like I said, it's going to be 50 total. You are in charge of how you want to break it up. Maybe if your balance isn't good, you can hold on to something. Just make sure if you're holding on to something, you're not like reaching for it and then this is what you look like, right? It might be right beside you, or you could still maintain a good upright posture as you're doing the movements. If you want to keep it just body weight, that's fine. You want to hold maybe a couple of dumbbells in your hands, no problem, but it shouldn't be heavy. Still on the light side where you can be explosive for each rep.